So into the charts we go. We saw a massive reversal yesterday. That is a short-term top on Bitcoin. Now we have seen a bounce today that's trying to retest that high. And again, that high is going to be a key level. Remember, the way you treat a high pivot like that in trading is that until it's broken, it's valid. Meaning that that is a short-term high on Bitcoin until you get a close, a daily close, since this is the daily chart, a daily close above it. If that happens, then you start looking for the next level to the upside. Now remember, the high from yesterday was virtually right up into this high as well. And again, I think that's important to recognize that, again, you had this low here, but also this high right there. And if we draw that trend line out, that actually gives you the exact high from yesterday. Pretty cool stuff. Now, there is another trend line I want to show you guys. This is where stuff gets real fun, right? So take a look at this. If you take this here and you draw this trend line through right here, can you guys guess what a parallel would be on this? Right up there, right? So check that out. So basically you have a parallel channel that was hit yesterday as well. So does it make more sense yesterday why the market would have run into resistance at yesterday's highs? And the answer is it should, right? Because not only do you have a parallel channel as a resistance, but you also had this flat top resistance as well. All right, so again, short term, that is the case. Now, am I looking to unload my Bitcoin? The answer is yes, absolutely am. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I was kind of looking to see if it would get above 25,000. It got briefly above 25,014, but I am looking to unload that. In addition, you probably just got the alert that I shorted some Matic here. Matic, again, you guys know, again, trading is my passion. Technicals is my game. And sure enough, take a look at this. You have this low right here. Actually, this goes all the way over here. And if I draw that trend line out, we just pierced that area. You have these highs as well right there. This is, to me, a short on Matic. Matic, a 4-bar surge. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, it's above that 150 level. If you remember over the last few videos, I've talked to you guys about saying, okay, where is my short level? It's going to be at a pierce of $1.50. So I did get that off at 154 today. And again, I think that you are close to a good pullback here. I still think Bitcoin could potentially have put in a multi-day, multi-week, multi-month high. If that's the case, then Matic eventually will pull back when Bitcoin pulls back as well. All right, so that's where we are on the charts right now as we continue in here. And again, a couple other things to watch for in terms of Matic's downside. This would be the first major support. There's going to be minor ones along the way, but basically 86, 87 cents. You also have this flat top right here. Look at this flat top. Pretty cool stuff. Take this high right here, stretch it right through this high. It cuts through there, then goes to this high, and then to these lows. Notice that's around 94 cents. Notice the upsloping trend line will merge with that in the not too distant future here, and that again will be interesting and major support. So if we got a big pullback, that would be the major level. The minor levels, you'll have this area right here as minor. You'll have this little pivot low, which is also this high here as well. Those are all minor though. This one would be the one where you would actually, if it collapsed, let's say in a 1 week period, you would actually look to go long on the chart there at that level. Okay, so again, we now have 3 shorts out there again. Remember, we had Avalanche last week, and then we took profits on that on the short side. I am looking, as you guys know, to adding to my Ethereum short here. Ethereum only if it gets up to this area right up here. So basically 1750-ish, maybe a little bit above that. If we get up in that range, that is where I will be looking to add to that position. All right, so basically we're looking at a level of around 750 to 775. And again, you got your parallels, you got this blue upsloping, you got this blue flat line here, which is at 1785. All of those levels represent epically big resistance on the chart. So again, that is something I am definitely looking towards in terms of resistance for the chart of Ethereum. All right, so again, let's take it one step at a time as we continue through here. And again, we will continue to keep you, or I will keep you posted on every little nuance that I'm seeing in the charts. Now let's go to a few other charts here. Let's take a look at Solana. So Solana here, again, yesterday we had that beautiful pullback. I noted how Solana did not make a new high like some of the coins like Bitcoin did. Matic, for instance, is making new highs, but Solana isn't. So that does tell me there's a little bit of relative weakness in the chart here. And then the next big question is, when does it roll over? And the answer is going to be very simple. When Bitcoin finally rolls over, that's when you're going to get a rollover on Matic. So we'll keep an eye on that, folks. But as always, interesting to see that price action there. A little bit of a bounce today. We're still in the money on this trade, so really no harm, no foul. Just let it do its thing. I still continue to believe that we'll come down and take this area of support out and then come down to this low as well. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, would I be interested in shorting Bitcoin if it gets up a little bit higher, right? So I'm talking about exiting the long trade that I've had out there, which is, again, a large chunk of my portfolio, 25%. Biggest position that I'll ever accumulate is probably 25 to 30% of any coin, and that'll basically be reserved for Bitcoin, right? So I always, when I'm accumulating positions, it's always based on risk. The more solid coins like a Bitcoin and Ethereum, those will have bigger percentages in the portfolio, while high risk plays will have smaller percentages. Okay? So that's something just to keep in mind as well. Now, as we continue through here, let's go to a few other charts. Avalanche, has that gotten to a shortable level yet? The answer is no, it hasn't. Hasn't got back above $21. I'm really looking right up here before I pull the trigger on a short. Maybe this weekend. Is it possible? Heck yeah. And I will be keeping an eye on that as well. Same thing with Bitcoin. Like I said, if Bitcoin gets up to a certain level above 25,000, I might not only get out of, and in fact, I'm looking, if we get back above 25, to exit my long on Bitcoin. But then I would also be interested in shorting Bitcoin probably closer to 26. Like if it has another blow off top and a pierce of the previous high, that would be someplace, something that I would look to unload in that vicinity. Okay, looking at Ripple. Ripple, again, amazing how it closed again above this trend line. Then yesterday it closed back below. Today it's back above. We still are left with no confirmation of a breakout on Ripple. And again, it's almost poetic in the sense that we're waiting for this judge's decision that hopefully will be out in, March maybe. I don't know. At some point in the next couple months, you got to hope that it comes out. I feel like we keep on hearing, like, I still remember in 2022, it was like, oh, it's going to be out in like August or July. And then it was like November. And then it's, okay, the new year. And they just keep on pushing it back. Again, I don't know the reasoning behind that, but they certainly keep pushing it back. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so I'll continue to just kind of monitor that, but at some point, it makes sense why it's not telling us a direction yet, because we're not close enough to that judge's decision. You would think that when it does tell us a direction, maybe that's an indicator of what that judge's decision would be, and the reason you'd think that is because you'd have to assume there's some insiders that know maybe that result, and maybe they're either selling or buying Ripple on the basis of that. And again, we always think we live in no, let's be honest. We know we don't live in a perfect world, but the idea is that even though it's illegal, to give insider information, it does happen, right? I mean, it happens. It's just the nature of humans to want to take advantage of opportunities like that, and therefore, again, that's one of the reasons charts work, and they can give you an indicator of something like that, is because smart money, or at least money that's finding out insider info, will be positioning accordingly for that next move. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of these other charts out there. We can go through a few others. We obviously looked at Matic. We looked at Ethereum and Bitcoin and Ripple and Solana and Avalanche. Let's take a look at BNB here. Binance, again, nice little bounce back after that nasty reversal. Now, interestingly enough, Binance made a lower high. So, again, that is a slight bearish negative signal there. Not a huge negative signal, but nonetheless, lower highs. You have to be aware of that. I mean, lower highs are lower highs. That is the potential start of a downtrend. You really want to get a lower low, right? So if you take this low is still technically higher. If we reverse and take out this low, now you have a lower low. And then with lower highs, that definitely tells you a new trend is in focus. Okay? All right, so that's where we are on that front, on the front of Binance coin there. And again, let me just see if there's anything else that I want to kind of take. We haven't looked at Doge in a few days. We'll take a look at Doge. Dogecoin, again, a lot of choppiness. There's still this hope that Elon Musk will at some point make it his official coin of Twitter. Again, I don't know if that will ever happen, but again, there's always a little hope that that would happen. If he did, it would be a huge benefit to the coin, obviously. Here's your downsloping channel, trend or wedge pattern. Really, this would probably be your better upsloping one, which means I'd probably take this one away for now. So that's more likely your range on it. You did have this big pop and then this reversal. Then this would technically be classified as a bearish wedge because, again, it's coming off the reversal and it's basically consolidating, which is bearish. But again, with this one tweet from Elon Musk, and it would change that anyway. So it's like, when you deal with that kind of stuff, yeah, the chart itself is slightly bearish, but you just have to be very careful in terms of things like a tweet that could go out. No doubt about that. You want to be on the careful side. All right, let's take a look at SHIB. Haven't looked at SHIB in a while here. And SHIB, again, chart-wise, it's been grinding up. You got to give it credit for that. Again, you do have some resistance points. There's a resistance point right here that you want to keep an eye on. And if I put a trend line in right there and draw that across, that's resistance. You pierced it briefly, came back in. Again, even with this latest pump in Bitcoin, you're not seeing higher highs. In fact, you're seeing lower highs, and that is a concern. On the underbelly, there's a very clear trend line right here, right? So again, a clear trend line where if we were to break below it, that would be very bearish. So again, this almost is creating a little bit of a wedge here. Does it break down or does it break out? That's something that we'll be watching for as well. All right, so that's really your update here. Again, shorted Matic, which is Polygon, as it hit the level that I've been talking about for a little while here. And again, we'll get ready to rock and roll here in the next few days. We'll see if, again, the weekend's quiet or not, and then obviously what happens next week. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. As always, I'll keep you posted. Take care.